It's time for local stories from across the East. Local food. Local fashion. Local businesses. This is your home for local. This is the East's Daily Download on Eastern North Carolina CW.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hello and welcome to this very special edition of the East Daily Download. My name is Mark. I'll be your tour guide on this adventure across the East. Today, like I said, it's a special episode. We're going to focus primarily on observing Memorial Day, which is today, and recognizing and honoring those who have fought and died in honor of this country and Eastern North Carolina. We have several stories in today's episode that are going to feature military, and one of the great things that we've had in the past is the Field of Honor. For the last few years, Eastern North Carolina CW has been a proud sponsor of the event that took place at the Greenville Town Common. Normally it would be going on right now, but obviously due to everything going on in the world, it is not happening at this exact moment. But we want to take a look back and look at past Field of Honors and give you a sense of that event. Okay, so we're going to do that. Also, right now, let's check out this very special People and Places from 9 on Your Side anchor Ken Watley, and let's take a look.
Now downloading People and Places.
This place has become hallowed ground,
It's a place to reflect.
and it's a way for them to remember the comrades that have passed away. And
The Lejeune Memorial Gardens in Jacksonville started as a simple idea.
this whole garden, it started growing because of the memorials, because of the Beirut Memorial. That was our first memorial out here. This is all because of the bomb blast in Beirut, Lebanon, back in 1983. Okay. It was a Mercedes-Benz truck with 12,000 pounds of TNT ran right into the center of the building and blew everyone up. So you had 241 Marine sailors and soldiers that died. They were a peacekeeping force. It's a very somber place.
Even more so when your ties to it run deep.
I know 18 guys on the wall. I'm still close to a number of their families. They're called the boys because they never got anywhere else but the boys. Most of them are between the ages of 17 and 24 years old. We were all boys. We weren't men, we were boys.
The gentleman points to the wall and he says, well, that's my son. What do you say when you have a parents and your son is on the wall? Now, if that's not heart-wrenching, I don't know what is.
One of the newest memorials recognizes the Marines of Montford Point. It was a training ground for African-American Marines back in the 1940s. Each star on the wall represents one of the 20,000 men who were trained there.
You can't name them all, and I say that because unfortunately back then they didn't have any record books for these folks. Their motto is we fought to fight, because it took them a lot of fight to get into to be allowed to fight in the services. The Vietnam Memorial, this memorial here is unique, a little unique than the one that you see in DC. And you've got the 58,229 names etched in glass, and they're alphabetical.
While many come to reflect on the past, Shufflebine and others look ahead to the future.
The Museum of the Marine is going to be a big asset to us. That's in its beginning stages. The big motto around here is that you will never forget. You will be remembered for everything you've done and your sacrifices that you've done for us to have our liberties and do everything we do today.
Welcome back to the East Daily Download. Hope your day's off to a great start so far. Today we are looking at and honoring Memorial Day, since that's what it is. And Eastern North Carolina has a very rich military tradition with all of our bases, so we really want to kind of dive into this episode. We have some other things as well planned for you. We're going to catch up with activities with Bentley and his training a little bit later in the episode. But right now, let's take a look at the Field of Honor that I mentioned a little bit earlier, and just really how special the event is and what it does and how it honors heroes. Let's take a look.
500 flags line the town common, honoring the community's heroes.
A special moment to give thanks to everyone who's gave their service, gave their lives. It's a really special day.
Saturday officially marked the opening of the memorial, one where each flag was given in honor of someone special. Among those who spoke, longtime WNCT anchor Alan Hoffman.
47 of those flags represent the guys who will never come home with me from Vietnam, who will always be 22 years old, who won't see their families grow, but they gave every inch of themselves for freedom, for this country.
God bless America. I dedicated one to my father, who served in World War II in the Pacific.
Ready, run, right, nice. Besides a chance for the city to come together for the opening ceremony, it was also a time for people to reflect on what the red, white, and blue truly mean to them.
It's hard to talk because I lost someone who was like a son to me, and he was in the Marines. So it's very, very difficult, but it was wonderful to see people out here honoring individuals who give their lives.
And, you know, the flag and everything that it stands for means that no matter what, everybody's going to stand together, and through the hard times, through the terrible times, there's a lot of bad things going on in this country, but we're all supposed to stand together.
The flags will stand for 6 weeks, running through the 4th of July.
I think it not only should come back, I think it should come back bigger. I think people need to get more involved. I think we're all Americans, and if you want to really have a wonderful country, you need to support things like this.
Watch your local WNCT 9 and Your Side News on our live stream. Your local news, weather, and sports from across the East. Available on the go with Live Stream 9 on WNCT.com or on our mobile app.
Our national parks are home to some of the most iconic views in the world.
When you look across here, you're seeing the South Fork of the Merced River. You're seeing the varying coniferous trees that we have here and deciduous trees.
National Park Ranger Shelton Johnson teaches visitors about Yosemite. Among the reenactments and talks he presents is the story of a group of African American troops called the Buffalo Soldiers. Their name given by Native American fighters who hearken their hair to the crown of a buffalo.
If you could bring those soldiers back and put them right here again, it wouldn't look that much different than what they experienced themselves.
In 1866, the Army sent the group, which included Civil War veterans and other soldiers, to the wilderness we know as Wawona. The group was comprised of the 9th and 10th Cavalry and the 24th and 25th Infantry.
So roads had to be built, hotels were built, lodging of various sorts were built, and they were all built for the convenience of visitors.
For the next several summers, a few hundred soldiers would camp in a tent city at the headquarters located in the A Loop of the Wawona campground.
Essentially, they were serving as some of the first park rangers anywhere in the world.
National parks were a new idea. Poaching and timber thieves were new to families accustomed to exploration and life in the Wild West.
So basically, they were providing a presence of discipline, a presence of authority, so that people knew that the park was under the command of these forces.
The national parks and park rangers would not be established until years later in 1916. The Buffalo Soldiers also left their mark in the area of conservation.
And on those slopes behind me, the Buffalo Soldiers actually built in 1904 an arboretum.
It is believed to be the first museum in the national park system. Although some contributions are gone, Ranger Johnson says that other connections are still very present.
The hat that I'm wearing on my head right now derives from the cavalry hats that were worn by U.S. Army troops both in Yosemite, Sequoia, and Yellowstone.
That history of the African American contribution to the national parks is what Johnson is working to keep alive and inspire others.
We didn't just come along after this was set up. We were part of the setting up. We were part of the building of this idea.
Local news and weather are available for you on the go just by downloading the WNCT mobile app.
The WNCT mobile app is available for free in the Google Play or App Store. Your local news and weather on the go.
Hey, we're back here on the East Daily Download Memorial Day edition. Hope your day is going great so far. We've been showcasing and highlighting stories that are around military, and we're still going to do that right now. So before we jump back in, let me just tell you really quickly how you can get this show besides watching it on Eastern North Carolina CW. We have the WNCT mobile app, which has great local news and local weather from the WNCT9 First Alert Weather Team with Jerry Jackson and his whole crew that do an amazing job. And on that app, you can also get this show, the East Daily Download. There's a link and you can watch. Also, WNCT.com under the download tab has the availability for you to watch all of the episodes of this show. So we encourage you to do that. Okay, let's jump back in right now and take a look at this next story. We'll see you back here in a little bit.
The idea behind the Forgotten Soldier exhibit is to shift your gaze. Curators like Kate Egner-Gruber say that was their idea when putting it together.
We're trying to tell a more complete story of the American Revolution. We're trying to tell stories that have been forgotten since the American Revolution and tell a more holistic, more complete story.
When you first walk in, you're greeted by a timeless photo of the Boston Massacre, but then your eyes are guided to Crispus Attucks, a man of mixed race who's believed to be the very first martyr. This theme continues as you move forward.
And I love that you walk into the gallery and you see these artifacts, and then you're immediately confronted with this plantation slave quarter landscape.
Paintings and rare documents highlight what the experience was for African Americans and the decisions they had to make.
Sometimes they're making choices given very little time, little information, and they just have to act very, very quickly, and then of course live with the consequences of whatever those choices are.
Gruber explained for many this option was alluring, but later would prove unfulfilling for most. Deeper into the exhibit, you'll see very important documents that describe what it meant for blacks when the war was said and done, and the British Army had lost, including a woman named Mary Perth.
Mary Perth, she's 43 and she's described as a stout wench. And you see here, again, that she came from John Willoughby in Norfolk, Virginia, and she left him 7 years ago.
Stories like this fill the gallery and disclose many names and faces that you may never have heard of before in history books. Gruber says you won't realize how much you need to know this until you're here.
We want our visitor to walk out of this gallery and take this new toolkit, this new idea of shifting the gaze into the permanent gallery, into other museums, and into their everyday life. We want our visitors to learn how to see things that they hadn't seen before, to look beyond the known and look into the unknown, and hopefully have a more complete understanding of our past.
If you're a parent who's providing an essential service and need childcare options, call our hotline today at 1-888-600-1685. We'll help you find the childcare you need. Brought to you by the Martin Pitt Partnership for Children.
We've seen a lot of heroes helping heroes. That's continuing as members of the Maury Fire Department are fitting the bill for lunch for other first responders. Greene County EMS, Police and Sheriff's Department, Highway Patrol, and all other first responders were treated to lunch by their peers at the Maury Volunteer Fire Department. The firefighters paid for the lunch out of their own pockets, wanting to give back during the pandemic. Snow Hill Police Chief Gordon Hobbs says in times of uncertainty, it's nice to see people care.
It makes us feel good. You know, it's a tight-knit community around here, and we all work closely together.
The food was provided by Old Time Smokehouse, which pitched in by offering discounted lunches. Maury firefighters say they hope their actions encourage other fire departments to give back too. In Snow Hill, Madeline Ashley, 9 on your side.
It's ingrained in me.
Of course I know what the theme song.
Entertainment Tonight. That's what people want.
It's hard to think of Entertainment Tonight without.
I mean, come on, since I was a little kid.
This is Entertainment Tonight. This is the Bible of show business.
This Memorial Day, join the East Daily Download in remembering all those who served.
Hi everyone, Taylor and Bentley here to teach you some more activities to do with your dog. Today we'll be demonstrating the steps for teaching your dog how to stand between your legs while you're standing. This is a great command to have on hand if you ever want your dog out of the way or if you just want them close by to you.
You'll be teaching this command using the lowering technique, so grab a handful of food or treats and begin lowering your dog through your legs. As soon as he's in position, either standing or sitting, mark the behavior letting him know he accomplished what you were looking for. You can use get it and then toss 1 or 2 pieces of food. This tells him he did what you wanted and he can break from his position to get his reward. Try to mark the behavior right away. This keeps him engaged and anticipating his next reward. Building duration will come later. Practice lowering him between your legs into position 8 or 9 times. Next, if you want him to sit while in between your legs, go ahead and start giving the command to sit. If you prefer he lies down, give the command for that instead. As soon as he sits or lies down, give him the release marker, get it, to let him know he did exactly what you wanted and he can break to get his reward. Practice this several times until he begins to sit on his own. Then you can remove the sit command. Once he's doing the behavior, including a sit or lie down, without much lowering from you, you can name the command. I've heard people name this command a few different things, including middle, safe, and between, which is what I use. Begin to gradually add duration at this stage too. Start with 5 seconds, then 10 seconds, and work your way up to 30 seconds. Keep it fun and keep him engaged by marking with the good and rewarding every few seconds. Once you've got a solid 30 seconds or so where your dog remains in the sit or down until you release him, you can try adding distractions. This is one way to proof your command or build up your dog's resilience while under command. Start easy by tossing a few pieces in front of your dog. The further away you toss, the likelier they'll find it easy to ignore.
Yes.
We hope you and your dog enjoy. Thank you for watching.
Between.
Good.
Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of the East Daily Download. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we appreciate it. We know you have a lot of options and a lot of choices when it comes to your television. So the fact that you choose us is an honor, and we are very appreciative of that and don't take it lightly and want to bring you the best show every day. We will be back with a new show tomorrow on the East Daily Download. And right now is normally where we just completely end the show and it comes to an end with the credits and everything. However, today we thought we would mix it up a little bit and end with the national anthem, but not just one performer, but a compilation of performers. So let's take a look and listen, and we'll see you back here on the next edition of the East Daily Download. Thank you so much, everybody.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaked, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the good old land of the free and the home of the brave?
Tomorrow, when we hit the road for the next edition of the East Daily Download, get your appetite ready because we're talking about a specialty dish called tomato pudding in Down Eats. We'll talk about the WNCT 9 on Your Side virtual food drive and how Southern Bank is helping those in need. Plus, we'll introduce you to a Southern star and talking about businesses reopening. Join us tomorrow for the East Daily Download on Eastern North Carolina CW.